We're going to talk a little bit around this, well, a lot around this trust issue, and Dali, I think we'll go to you first. We do have a trust problem. I'm assuming that's where you think there's some challenges there. But the interesting thing here is people say they're concerned about data, their security, their privacy, but if we think about their behaviour, something very different is happening that would suggest that at least the concerns are there, but the behaviour is very different. So where's this disconnect? What do you make of this disconnect, and how big is this trust issue?
All right. Look, I don't know actually whether we have a problem or not. All I know is that it's actually a complicated matter, right? We start talking about trust, and you're bringing the aspect of, you know, our behavior towards different technology, and we can talk a lot about us really realizing that there are threats when it comes to our personal data, for instance, and you mentioned a number of statistics out there. Another interesting one is 59% of Australians are actually declared, very openly that they would switch to another service if they realize that a service is breaching their privacy. Yet, I don't think that 59% of Australians switch, to a different service than Facebook. And I know Facebook is the easy target here, and
right.
I actually was not
you were trying
to talk about.
Yes.
I was trying to avoid talking about Facebook, and but yeah, that's actually I think a sort of disconnect when it comes to our behavior and our attitude towards technology. Look, I think it's actually a complicated problem because notions of trust and notions of privacy are very, very complicated to capture. Each of us has here a different definition of what is really privacy, what notions of privacy we're trying to protect. Legislation is not helping, because actually I think legislation is also struggling with the understanding, how to frame notions of leakage, information leakage, how to frame notions of consent, how to frame notions of enabling trust in the technology in a proper way. And we get used to these technologies. I mean, I'm considering myself as being a privacy cautious guy and tech savvy guy, and yet I was mentioning this earlier to Ben, when I really need Google Map, I just open the app and use it, and I'm not really protecting myself against Google knowing every bit of my movements and my location privacy. I think there is a disconnect because we get so much used to this technology that it becomes really a very, very, big essential of our daily lives. And yet, I think we should really be adapting our behavior to different contexts and to try to enable notions. And I know that we'll potentially talk a lot about notions of trust and how we really should enforce these notions of trust in the technology and our daily behavior. From us people to industry and government agencies and so on, how we really should enforce those notions of trust. But I think as consumers and customers and end users of such technology, we should really be very, very careful in how we're really adopting such technology. And we should really enforce the one particular aspect that I truly believe in, which is making these private companies believe that they have no choice but to have privacy and trust as a key differentiator in their business. They really have to invest in that. They really have to put the time and the money to make sure that our privacy is protected and to be able to use it, to use our data, because that's actually their business model. Our data is their business model, right? To use it in a proper way.